Aloha everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is Merissa Indigo of Divine DNA Blueprint. I wanted to share a very powerful experience that I use often to teach with clients and in different sessions and whatever teaching scenarios I find myself in as I live this life of awakening. I want to tell a little story and then share the process with you to support your own process, because we are coming into more and more abrupt awakenings on multiple levels, for everyone, collective levels, individually. Some of us have had aspects of our reality that were conscious from the get-go, depending on our life. And sometimes there are greater layers that come forth and they're pretty confrontational, and yet it's all for our unfolding, for our awakening. So I want to share an experience that I had in the forest. I was having kind of a therapeutic little hike with myself, and I was just engaging in what I call kind of a conscious dialogue with higher self, just running through different processes and programs and emotions and things that I was coming across that were older and thus a lot harder to extract, if you will, from my being. And I just paused and I was really in a snit with myself, kind of in a space of frustration. Like, how come I can't let this go? Why is this so hard for me? And it was like a lightning bolt hit me like diagonally through my skull. And I heard guidance, and they said very strongly and very loudly, "Everything outside of you is a lie." And I was like, whoa, like, what do you mean? And it was the most strong and assertive that guidance has ever spoken to me about this. They don't yell, they don't yell at us. They're not abusive, but it was such a stern, strong, like the impression, like they wanted us to understand so that I could also share this with you all and in sessions and everything. So I sat with that and I kind of let it digest over a couple of days. And what I received from this is they're really wanting us to fully understand, understand, embody, not just cognitively talk about and think about and talk therapy, all that. They want us to embody this truth that all of us have immense social and societal and ancestral or family conditioning. And that if we look at the majority of our core issues, our core programming and distortions, they were all projected upon us from external sources. So when they were saying everything outside of you is a lie, then they said if your internal God spark, soul, individual element of infinite intelligence did not say this to you, it is a lie. And I was like, wow, that's a really great way to kind of consolidate, the messages that we all talk about, we share. We've been working through this. So many different other wonderful, consciousness revolutionary people have shared this with us about the effects of cultural conditioning, our ancestral programming, all of it. And so this was a really blunt way for me to have this kind of confrontation with myself, kind of like a coming to self moment in the mirror looking at this. And it has to do with our victim programming. And anywhere we go small, anywhere that we have fear, anywhere that we let a story or an emotion or some awful thing that someone else said to us at any point in our life that we allow to hold us back at this point. Essentially, anything anyone ever told us was about themselves. And it's just such an important point for us to start to really work with, sit with, meditate on. This is a full wipe, like a full consciousness template wipe to support us really coming in to the new realms, the quantum realms. So I wanted to share a little bit about that story, break it down a little bit, and then support you in the next phases of the process. Because when we are deprogramming, when we're having these major revelations, like, oh my God, like I spent my whole life believing this or giving energy to this, and therefore, looking at where we've held ourselves back, when we start to have these other elements come in, then when we have these realizations of what that means. But then we also have to deprogram those, because again, we may be bringing judgment or shame or regret or thinking that we did something wrong. No, the whole point of the consciousness journey is that the light shines upon us and our consciousness when we are ready to see it. You can't see it if you're not at the frequency of consciousness. And so the whole point of this game is to see and to embrace the gift of seeing our truth and then going from there. So the next phase of this will be a little bit more of a philosophical or existential kind of playing around with this notion and what may arise emotionally and how to continue to deprogram from there to really come into neutrality with this and then empowerment. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this and that it is supportive.
If everything is a lie, where do we go from here? At first, this can be pretty rattling when everything we have known has actually come through a filter that was inaccurate, distorted. There is some psychological fallout sometimes, emotional too, with this. Some are prepared before this massive unplugging with little hints and mirrorings from the universe of your soul mirrored to you in your experience. So some of us have had little hints and breadcrumbs throughout the way. Some now, with the amounts of massive photonic light hitting the planet, some are having a very abrupt and even violent or catastrophic unplugging from the matrix. The cords are ripped out, and there can be a sense of confusion, instability, feeling very nebulous, like a free fall. And in these moments, we must first affirm our safety, our deservedness, our holiness, our connection to the all, and embracing, opening ourselves up, softening into the truth that the universe is wise and loving, kind, and for us. So any perceived threats or fear which arise from this unplugging, we can throw onto the fire to burn and replace with gratitude that we have been freed, starting to build into trust and faith and our true identity, our authentic identity, also our own authentic sovereign ideas about the nature of reality. Each of us, throughout our journey of the old system, knew and had very strong feelings or ideas about, wow, this isn't right. I would do it this way. It should be like this. Why is it like this? This doesn't feel very good. This feels really good. Wow, wouldn't that be cool if that's how things were for everyone? And thus, the blueprints, the templates are already there, buried beneath. And all we have to do is start to resurrect them, to pull them out, to start to draw out our encodements one by one. You can start with what is most relevant to you right now. What's the massive experience of unplugging? Is it the school system for our children, the healthcare system, which we have found out is sick care and very flawed? Is it the way our infrastructure is handled? Is it water quality? Is it wanting to grow your own food? Is it wanting to be an artist and get out of corporate? Is it no longer feeling that it makes any sense to exchange your precious life force energy and time as the most valuable resources you have for a dollar amount? How do we even quantify that? So whatever is presenting in your life right now with the initial unplugging, or perhaps you're in a phase of multiple stages of unplugging where it's been one piece at a time. So for me personally, the unplugging from the Western medical model, what do they call it? They call it conventional medicine, right? For me, breaking that illusion was very early on in childhood, where I had serious autoimmune disorders, multiple chemical sensitivities, and interactions with pharmaceuticals where I almost died. And this introduced us to what they have the audacity to call alternative, which is actually some of the original medical system, the ancient medicine, 5,000 years of Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, herbal, the ancient wisdoms. And that kicked on a whole destiny point for me. So for some of us, this has happened in phases. And for some of us, all those cords are getting ripped out at once. And this is where we do want to have compassion for ourselves and one another. Honor the fears, sit with the fire, let the tears flow, burn the fears, give gratitude for being shown. And then go within, and we call this the data mining. Find the treasures and the gems of your own knowledge, your own pearls of wisdom that you have been accumulating this entire time. All the different realizations and revelations and random thoughts you had, or wonderful kind of mastermind conversations with others, like, oh, I wish it was like this, or if it were up to me, for me, the education system for children would be like this instead. Each of us, based on our own unique path and life and career, have had these revelations and ideas and preferences, because how we learn is through contrast. When we know what we don't want and we don't like, we start to naturally, organically build, create, dream, fathom, birth what we would like. Allowing yourself to feel the fear, stabilize yourself in the free fall, connect with Mother Earth, walk outside, breathe, affirm your safety, come deeply into the root chakra and allow it to open and relax and ground in with Gaia. Ask her to receive you, stabilize, and then begin to go within and find the first piece. What is the priority right now? And start, just take one step and one breath and allow the next piece to flow in as it does. Perhaps there's one priority that's taken over all of them. Perhaps we have to relocate, or the next career is coming through. You got to trust the process and the fact that you have been unplugged in the perfect timing for you, even if it feels jarring to the core. That's the point. We are being liberated from the simulation to now create consciously from our own relationship with life, family, our hobbies, what we want to do professionally, our health, all of it. The opportunity now is coming in to create consciously. So we want to empty the fears and any of that separation, victim, lack, any of the fears. Acknowledge them, allow them. Thank you for showing me. When slaves are first freed of varying elements, terror comes because we felt powerless before. And that is an illusion. We are awakening to our power. So we must grasp it, allowing ourselves to be emptied, to then refill and refuel with the truths we have been gathering, the preferences, the desires, the dreams for all, for self and for all, and for the planet at large. Welcoming the glory, the divine alignment and timing and pure energies, crystalline codes of new earth to show you, to merge and connect with what you already know, to plan the next steps and the next steps forward, one step at a time. So once you decompress the free fall, you get into the dream weaving. All right, what's the priority? Moving on. What's the next step? What's an action step? Coming from that empowered place, coming from the knowingness that you are the divine architect, you are the master builder, taking your power back, taking your energy back, finding your gratitude and enthusiasm for life, and the ultimate liberation that if everything was a lie, that means we get to decide what's true for ourselves and our divine sovereignty. This is the opportunity, the paradise codes opening. What is your paradise? What are your freedom codes? What does it mean to you to be free? What does it mean to have a fulfilled and beautiful life? What does it mean to allocate your energy, your creative potential, allocating it as you see fit, as what feels aligned? What is aligned for you? So in these massive deconstructionist moments, we want to really honor the space we're in, give time, presence, take notes. I'm giving so much gratitude for the opportunity. Everything is an activation. I learned that from Lisa Brown. Everything is an activation. What are we going to do with it? Okay, we're going to shed any of the distortions, the fears associated with this right now that were under the surface, and then we're going to come into solution. We're going to get practical, calling in the earth element to support you in that stability, the grounding, systemizing, calling in the wisdom of the ancients, the ancestors, the elementals, star family, planets. Use the True North compass guide to explore your own blueprints, showing you more of your path, why you came. So essentially, we were all asleep or under a spell for some time. The veils are removed from our eyes, and we are starting to open our eyes for the first time. And it might be kind of bright and glaring and harsh lighting and kind of blurry. Allow your focus to come in. Allow your focus to come in. Invite it in. So I thank you so much for joining me. It's very powerful times. Sending you all my love and support. The True North compass guide is listed below. It's a free gift. You're welcome to use that to explore your process. This is your astrology, your energy, your galactic signature, your numerology. This is the blueprint of your divine codex, of your own divine blueprint. So it will support you immensely in self-exploration and gaining the confidence and the trust for the next steps. Thank you so much for joining me and for your likes and shares and subscribes, beautiful comments, and your wonderful energy and enthusiasm, and for showing up. I'll see you for the next transmission.